You slide out of your mother somewhere in the Serengeti, and your sibling follows a moment later. You're blind and can't see anything around you, so you press into your mother's body and stay there. She pulls you both closer with her head and starts cleaning you with her tongue, pushing you against her stomach where you can feed. A few days pass like that, just feeding and staying close while your eyes stay sealed. Then one morning your eyes open. The den is a gap between two large rocks, just wide enough for your mother to lie across the entrance. Your sibling is already awake and trying to stand, with its legs going sideways under its own weight. You try the same thing and go straight down onto your chin, but you push up again and try a second time, and this time your legs hold. Then your mother stands and walks out of the den entrance, and a jackal follows her in from the other side. It's thin and low to the ground, moving toward you and your sibling with its head down. You press back against the rock with your sibling pushing in beside you. The jackal gets close enough that you can see its teeth. Then your mother comes back through the entrance and throws her full weight into it, driving it out and away from the rocks. She comes straight back to you after that. She picks you up by the scruff and carries you out of the den, then comes back for your sibling and carries you both further into the rocks to a narrower space that the jackal can't reach. You press into your mother's stomach and start feeding again, but soon she'll have to leave to hunt, and the two of you will be alone. You're a few weeks old now, and your mother has started taking you and your sibling outside the den for short stretches. The grass around the rocks is tall, and you can only see a short distance ahead, so you stay close to her legs and copy the way she moves, placing your paws where she places hers. One afternoon, your sibling runs ahead and you follow, both of you moving further from the den than you've gone before. Then your sibling turns left and you turn right, and a few seconds later you stop and look back and your mother isn't there. You move forward trying to find her, but every direction looks the same, so you stop and stay still. Then a warthog pushes through the grass a few meters away with its tusks swinging low. It hasn't seen you yet, but it's moving in your direction. You drop flat to the ground and stay there. The warthog passes close enough that you could reach out and touch it, then keeps going and disappears back into the grass. A moment later, your mother pushes through from the other side and picks you up by the scruff, carrying you back toward the den where your sibling is already waiting. She drops a piece of meat in front of you both. It's the first solid food you've had, and you bite into it and pull, with your paws pressing down on the side to hold it steady. That's a big moment. Your teeth work, your body is getting stronger, and you're starting to understand how far you can go before the world gets dangerous. But your mother still does everything for you, and one day soon, that's going to change. You're a few months old now, and one morning, your mother leads you and your sibling away from the rocks and across open ground toward a group of lionesses lying in the grass with cubs spread around them. You stay close to your mother's legs as she walks into the group, but the other cubs stand up and move toward you straight away. The largest one goes for your sibling first, pushing it down with both paws and standing over it. You run at the cub and hit it in the side, knocking it off balance, and it turns and bites your ear. The two of you roll in the grass with the other cubs moving in around you. Then one of the adult lionesses crosses the group in 3 long strides and bites the back of the cub's neck, holding it down until it goes still. The cub gets up and walks away, and everything settles. After that, the cubs leave you alone. You and your sibling find a spot at the edge of the group and lie down. Over the next few days, you learn how the pride feeds, who eats first, and who waits, and you stay out of the way of the bigger cubs until you understand where you fit. But one of the cubs, a female a few weeks older than you, starts following you around the edge of the group. She copies the way you move and lies down next to you when the adults rest. You let her stay. The pride is bigger than anything you've known and there's safety in it, but you're still small, and the adult lionesses do all the hunting. Soon you'll start watching them work, and what you learn from watching will matter more than anything else. You're around a year old now, and you're big enough to follow the pride on hunts without being left behind. You've been watching the lionesses work for months, the way they spread out wide before closing in, the way they hold still until the last possible moment, so tonight you're ready to try. The pride fans out across the grass with a herd of wildebeest moving through the open ground ahead. You take a position on the left side and hold it, watching the nearest lioness for the signal. But a young wildebeest breaks from the edge of the herd and crosses right in front of you, and you go for it before anyone else moves. The whole herd turns at once and runs, scattering in every direction, and the lionesses pull up and stop. The wildebeest you were chasing disappears into the herd, and you're left standing in open ground with the others watching. The pride goes back to resting and nobody eats. A few hours later, one of the older lionesses finds you at the edge of the group and pushes you with her head toward a specific position in the grass, lower and wider than where you placed yourself before. She holds you there with her body until you stop moving, then walks back to her own position. The next hunt works. You hold your place, the pride closes in together, and a wildebeest goes down. You weren't the one who made the kill, but you were part of the circle that made it happen. That's the first time you've been part of something that worked. But the pride is about to change in a way nobody is ready for, and when it does, everything you've learned will be tested. You're around 2 years old now, and 3 males arrive at the edge of the territory with their heads low and their bodies wide. The 2 young males who grew up in your pride walk toward them, but the standoff lasts less than a minute before your pride's males turn and leave and don't come back. The 3 new males take over feeding order immediately. When the pride brings down a zebra that afternoon, the males push in first and eat until there's almost nothing left. You wait with the other lionesses and get nothing. The next kill goes the same way. and by the third day you've gone 2 full days without eating. So you and the young lioness who used to follow you around the edge of the group split away from the pride before the next hunt, and move toward a separate part of the territory. You find a zebra foal that's fallen behind its mother near a dry riverbed, and the two of you circle wide in opposite directions without saying anything to each other, with your bodies staying low in the grass. You close in from both sides at the same time, and the foal goes down fast. It's the first kill where you did every part yourself: the tracking, the positioning, and the takedown. You eat until you're full and bury the rest under dirt to come back to later. That's a different kind of confidence from anything you've had before. You're not following the pride's hunt anymore. You're running your own, and soon something new is going to pull you in a direction you've never gone before. You're around 3 years old now, and one of the new dominant males has been following you for 2 days, staying close and cutting off your path every time you try to move away from him. Mating takes place over several days, and after it's done, you start to pull away from the main group, moving to the edge of the territory on your own. Your stomach grows over the following weeks, and your movements slow down. You need somewhere hidden, so you find a rocky outcrop with a narrow gap at the base that's wide enough for your body but nothing larger. You go inside and stay there. 2 cubs are born. You clean them both and pull them close, and for the first half of the first day, everything holds. Then a hyena moves through the rocks outside with its head swinging low, circling the entrance twice before it leaves. You pick up the first cub by the scruff and carry it out of the gap and further back into the rocks to a second. Deeper space, then go back for the second one. Once both cubs are in the new space, you lie across the entrance and stay there. They press into your stomach and start feeding, with their paws pushing against your side. They're completely helpless, and they need everything from you, and for the first time in your life, you're the one doing all the protecting. A few weeks from now, you'll bring them back to the pride. But right now, they're too small, and the world outside is too big for them. Your cubs are a few weeks old now, and you carry them back to the pride one at a time, with each one hanging still from your mouth by the scruff. The other lionesses come forward and lower their heads toward the cubs, and after a few minutes they settle back down and let them move through the group. The smaller cub struggles to feed and keeps getting pushed aside, so you move it back in front of you every time it loses its place and stand over it until it finishes. One of the males walks toward the cubs one afternoon, and you step between him and them and hold your position without moving until he turns and walks the other way. The cubs grow fast. By 6 weeks, they're running at anything that moves, with their back legs going faster than their front ones, so they tumble forward into the dirt. One launches itself at your tail and hangs on with all 4 paws, and you drag it a few meters before it lets go and runs at your tail again. By 10 weeks, they're following you on the edge of hunts, with their bodies low in the grass the way you were taught, watching the lionesses close in from both sides. They don't move yet, they just watch, but you can see them tracking every step. One afternoon, the stronger cub breaks position and runs at a young warthog at the edge of the herd, and the whole hunt breaks up. You recognize exactly what just happened because you did the same thing once. You walk over and push the cub back to its position in the grass and stand beside it. They're learning everything you know, and soon they'll be ready to do it without you. You're around 14 years old now. Your back teeth are worn down and chewing through bone takes much longer than it used to, so you lose pieces of a kill to younger lionesses who eat faster and you walk away with less than you need. It happens 3 kills in a row and your ribs start to show through your coat. The younger lionesses move ahead of you on hunts now, so one morning you walk to the far edge of the territory on your own, looking for something easier to bring down alone. You find a young impala near a dry riverbed and close the distance well, but your legs slow in the final stretch and the impala pulls away before you reach it. You stop and stand in the open ground. A hyena appears from behind a rock and stops 30 meters away with its head up. Then another comes over the ridge behind it. Then more, spreading out to your left and right in a wide arc. There are 12 of them, and they move in slowly with their heads low. You turn to face the 2 closest ones and charge straight at them, and they scatter to the sides. But the ones behind you move in while your back is turned, and one hits you low behind the rear leg, making you go down on one side. You get back up and push forward into the group, with your paws driving 2 of them back into the dirt, but they come back, and they keep coming, and your legs go slower with every pass. The last thing you see is the open ground ahead of you and the grass moving as they close in from both sides.